Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the podcast. So this week we're going to be talking about tolerance, and as lockdown restrictions ease, it is really important for us to think about tolerance and how this might have changed throughout lockdown. So this week we have our special guest, who is Stacey from our engagement team. Hi, Stace.
Hello.
So Stace, do you want to just explain to our listeners exactly what an engagement worker does?
Yeah, so what I do is I go out and I engage with young people, let them know about what we do and who we are. Also, I do workshops, so that could be in schools, alternative provisions, loads of different places wherever it's needed. I do outreach, which I love doing. One of my favourite things is going out and speaking to young people in their prime, in their communities. So yeah, that's basically what I do, and I love it.
Only a few things then.
Only a few.
Always kept busy.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so this week we're going to be talking about tolerance. So I guess first of all we need to explain exactly what tolerance is. So in a nutshell, it's the amount of alcohol or substance that you need to get a certain effect. So if somebody's tolerance increases, it means they need more of that substance to be able to get the same effect as what they were used to. And if it has decreased, they need less of that substance to get the effect that they're used to. So why are we talking about tolerance this week? Well, as mentioned, restrictions are being lifted, so people are now able to go out, we're able to socialise a bit more, which means that, you know, young people that we work with have got access to more substances, more alcohol. So Stace, what kinds of things are you seeing with young people and tolerance?
So like you said, because lockdown's lifting, I think young people haven't really realised how much their tolerance has changed during that lockdown. Yeah. So some of our young people were obviously at home with parents, which led to them not using as much as they normally would, which means now they're going out and they're using substances again. It might be ones that they've previously had a really good tolerance of and can handle a little bit better. However, now that tolerance has dropped and they haven't realised, they're back out using the same amount as they previously would, which is really dangerous, really, really dangerous. There's also, we know loads of things that are new in the area as well. So we've got things like edibles at the moment. So we've got and we have had young people hospitalised from using these. This could be because there's a high amount in them. However, it could also be because of our young people's tolerance. We don't really know why, but they are affecting our young people at the moment really differently to how they have prior.
Yeah, so just a little bit on edibles, really. So these would be your substances that the young people are eating. So they might have a sweet that is being laced with some sort of substance. So this is what we mean by edibles, is something they can eat that has a substance on it. For those who are not aware of what a edible is. So, like we said, we're talking about tolerance. So why are we talking about it? What are the risks to do with tolerance? So, Stace, what risks would there be for somebody who has a reduced tolerance?
So, tolerance, if you have a reduced tolerance and you go out and use the same amount of substance as you previously did, and it doesn't even have to be that you've previously done it, it can just be that you're trying a new substance. Your tolerance is low, which means it's giving you that chance of overdose because you're putting that extra pressure on your body and your heart. So you could overdose very simply compared to what you might think. So it's just about being mindful that when your tolerance is low, go slow. Like don't go out and just take as much as you previously may have if you was a heavy user previously, or try not to experiment with different things, or if you do, do it in a safe way.
Yeah. So what kind of harm reduction stuff would you give? What advice would you give young people who are now starting to socialise a bit more with restrictions being eased and, you know, maybe using a bit more regularly than they might have been in lockdown?
So I think it's about young people need to be mindful of tolerance and need to be aware that their tolerance may be a lot lower. So it's about starting low and going slow. So, you know, if you do want to use any substances, just take a little bit, you know, and go slow and see how your body handles that. Don't put it all in one go, as that, again, like I said, is massive risk of overdose as well. And hospitalisation, like we've previously said, that is quite wide in Gwent at the moment. Like crush, dab and wait. So crush, dab a little bit, again, wait. It's all about taking that small little dose and waiting to see the effects and giving it time to work, because these substances all depend on which substance you're using, but some may take a lot longer to affect you. So just be mindful that your tolerance is lower, which means that may affect you a lot quicker and a lot more than it has previously.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, it's important to mention we are the Young Persons Substance Misuse Service for Gwent. We are on all social media platforms, so if anybody listening does need some advice or would like questions answered, please just contact us on our social medias and we'll be able to point you in the right direction and answer any questions that you do have. And now it's time for my favourite part of the podcast, Get to Know the Worker. Get to know the worker, 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 the worker. Get to know the worker. Get to know the worker. Okay, so I've composed myself now after my little sing song. So Stace, we're going to do a quick fire round of Would You Rather. Okay, so are you ready?
I'm ready, let's do this.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Oh, and you've got a cat. Rude.
I have one of each, so I love them fairly.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Hot chocolate or coffee?
Hot chocolate.
Morning or evening?
Evening.
Text message or call?
Text message.
Yeah, don't ring me.
Don't do calls.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Book or movie?
Book. I love a good book.
Comedy or horror?
Comedy. 100% comedy.
Yeah? Okay. Would you rather have a golden voice or a silver tongue?
Golden voice. Little.
Would you rather... I don't know. Would you rather always be 10 minutes late or always be 20 minutes early?
10 minutes late.
You're always 10 minutes late anyway. Okay, last one. Would you rather be able to talk to land animals, animals that fly, or animals that live underwater?
Oh, animals that fly. I bet they've got some stories.
Oh,
yeah, animals that fly. Love it.
Like it. So that was this week's Get to Know the Worker. Get to Know the Worker. Oh, you've had enough singing this week. Thanks, Sis.
Thank you.
So, Stacey, how are you feeling about restrictions being lifted?
Obviously, it's quite positive. However, I am feeling a little bit anxious because we've been so used to being in lockdown now. It's going to be very strange. Even being able to just go to town and have a little walk around was a little bit strange for me. So I think also we need to be mindful that we're all going to feel like that, or some people will feel like it. But it's just to be mindful that not everyone's going to feel as safe straight away.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I feel anxious about it. I'm excited because things are lifting. However, I'm still a little bit anxious, and I do already see just swarms of people everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it's really important to kind of highlight it, in it, that yeah, we've spent so long not being able to do things and not being around lots of people. So now we're allowed to be around more people. It is a bit of a shock to the system, I guess. Like for me, social distancing has been a dream because I am not a hugger. You cannot come near me. I've told all my friends they can have one hug and that is it. Like, you know, don't take the mick now just because we can hug. You don't need to come near me. You can still obey by the 2 metre rule. I'm fine with that. But yeah, there's going to be people out there who are going to really embrace it, but there are going to be people who are anxious about it, and rightly so. It's been such a funny kind of year and a half where we haven't been able to do a lot of things. So yeah, I think it's important to get across to respect people. If they don't want you to get close, that's absolutely fine, and not to push it upon anybody. But yeah, it's been lovely having you on this week, Stace. We hope we've covered what tolerance is and the importance of it. And, you know, like Stacey said, go low, go slow, crush dab weight. And yeah, just enjoy socialising and being out, but do it safely and appreciate and respect people's wishes. But it's been a pleasure, so thank you very much, Stacey.
Thank you very much for having me. I've enjoyed it, and I hope I'm on again soon.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks, everybody.
You.
Bye.
Bye.
Stacey went out on outreach this week and managed to catch up with a few young people. Let's have a listen to what they had to say.
So I'm out tonight, it's Stacey again, hello everyone. I'm out tonight in Abertillery doing a bit of outreach. So what drugs are you seeing in your area at the moment?
I often see a bit of cannabis hanging around.
Yeah.
And I've seen some people walking the streets with some white powder.
Yeah.
Now and again.
Yeah.
I think that's it really.
So is there a lot going on in your area at the moment now lockdown's lifted?
I've seen a lot of cannabis. You know, and you can smell it as well.
Yeah.
Obviously you can't smell the powder, so that's a little bit harder, but I've seen some white powder, but not much after lockdown was lifted.
Yeah. So do you feel like if there was an emergency now, after me and Kath have been out tonight, I've done a little session with you, do you feel that if there was an emergency you would know how to react to that now?
Oh yeah, an absolute definite. Just ring the ambulance or police straight away. I'm sure they'll take it from there.
If you've seen something on the floor that you wasn't familiar with, or that you thought it might be a drug, what would you do with that?
I would report it to the authorities.
Lovely, very good answer. So, do you think there's a lot of drugs in your area at the moment?
Well, not really.
No?
There may be a few, but probably barely none.
So have you ever seen an adult have a bit of a side effect from it?
Kind of.
Yeah?
I mean, I've seen Benny, who's kind of a lunatic anyway.
Okay. So, do you come to off the streets every week?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Pretty often.
How do you think it helps, the outreach? Do you think it's nice to have people here?
Yeah.
And do you think it's helped that me and Cass have come along tonight?
Yes.
Lovely, okay, thank you. Thought I'd ask you, what is going on within your area at the moment when it comes to drugs? Are you seeing anything going on?
Yeah.
Yeah? So what do you think? What are you seeing?
Like weed and smell of weed and all that.
Yeah? So do you think that's because lockdown is lifted and there's a bit more, or do you think it's always been like that?
I think lockdown has been lifted, but it's like more going on anyway.
It's more going on anyway. So me and Kath's been out with you tonight with Off the Streets. And how do you think tonight's session has gone? Do you feel a little bit more safe if you come across an emergency and you would know what to do?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Like ring the police or like and like tell a responsible adult.
Yeah, and would you do the same thing if you find something on the floor that you wasn't familiar with?
Yeah, so like for instance, like I don't know, like needles on the floor.
Yeah.
Or like a block of weed or something.
Lovely.
Or like a little bit of like cocaine on the floor.
Yeah, so you know exactly what to do with that. That's great. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Have a good night with Off the Street.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I did it.
And that's it for this week. Thank you so much, Stacey, for being our special guest and being part of Get to Know the Worker. I hope you've all enjoyed listening this month, and tune in next month for another new episode of the podcast. Thank you. Bye.